Simon, thanks for joining us. Of course, not joining us on the line, joining us from Cape Town. So is it 1 to Joburg, 0 to Cape Town because we got 4G before you guys?
That seems to be how things stand at the moment, but I doubt that we'd experience it as much of a loss right now. This isn't something that you're going to experience in Johannesburg unless you really know how to get onto that LTE network with the right devices.
Of course, let's talk about Vodacom and the fact that they have been the front runner in launching this. You know, as you say, there are going to be glitches, there's still constraints. How significant is it though, this race of who does it first and how many base stations are able to be lit up with 4G?
I mean, at the moment, this is great for publicity for Vodacom. It sends all the right signals to the market that they are staying abreast of the latest technologies, that they have the best of those new technologies in their network, and that they are making that integral shift over to the likes of LTE. To end users and to customers, however, this doesn't mean much at the moment. It's something, as I said, that a small percentage of them will experience if they have the right devices, if they manage to get hold of a Vodacom customer care assistant who knows what LTE is and how to activate it for them. So experientially for Vodacom users, not much at the moment, but it does send some great signals to the market, and of course it's great for publicity.
Let's talk about the role that ICASA plays in all of this, because they're really holding up, well, this is what the mobile operators say, they're holding up the rollout of LTE or 4G. What is the big issue with ICASA, and why are they basically not releasing more spectrum to the mobile operators?
That's a pretty broad topic, but the gist of it at the moment is that Vodacom, MTN, Cell C, the networks that are wanting to integrate LTE are having to repurpose frequency that they're already using for 2G and 3G services and what they refer to as refarm that for use with the LTE network. So that does compromise their 2G services, for example. There is a risk of that happening. Essentially what they'd like is new chunks of frequency that they could allocate for LTE without having to repurpose and possibly compromise those other technologies. Now, the Independent Communications Authority of South Africa is in charge of provisioning those frequencies that are currently available and that will become available when things happen like the switch to digital terrestrial television and that digital dividend of frequency that will free up. These are processes that arguably should have been sorted out and happened already, but ICASA is in the process of provisioning some of those frequencies. And of course, if you're a network operator like Vodacom or MTN, you're quite eager to get your hands on those chunks of frequency so you can really roll out LTE in a meaningful way.
Of course, the mobile operators have been spending a lot of money on these pilot projects, and it does cost a lot when it comes to capex in terms of rolling this out. But is it going to cost a lot more for consumers? I mean, what are the type of costs consumers have to take into account if they want to have 4G technology on their cell phones, or whatever it may be, data packages?
Sure. LTE is an interesting technology for a lot of the network operators. Depending on what base station technology they're using, this is a software upgrade for them. It isn't a massively expensive upgrade on the base station, but of course their core network needs to be at the level where it can support the kind of speeds that these new technologies theoretically extend to their customers. So for the end user, we're not hearing much by way of cost at the moment. Vodacom has said that their 4G services will cost as much as their 3G services currently do. ATA is running a pilot where they will be giving piloters, test users, free bandwidth that they can use during that period. But essentially, when we look at the cost of an LTE service, you're going to be using potentially a lot more bandwidth using the service than what you could have on a 3G service. And so you'll end up paying more as a sum total of your bandwidth consumption in a month. But the price per megabyte is not going to be more on LTE.
Well, Simon, thanks so much for joining us. I still maintain we're one up on you guys, even though it's perhaps a PR campaign on behalf of Vodacom. At least we can boast we got 4G before Cape Town. Thanks for joining us today.